Well, it seemed like it was never going to come. But lo and behold, it is going to be football season after all. So we're going to be glad of that. We'll be talking about what's going to happen this week. Shane Matthews joins us shortly to talk about his expectations. He had some interesting comments this morning on his program. We'll check in with Freddie Wehbe. He's got a worthwhile thing he's doing with Florida Victorious, and we'll get his take on that. And then it's time for Franz Beard. Franz has had a busy week. A lot of things happening in his personal life. Hope you're all doing well. We're getting there. We're getting there. Trees on the house, everything else. We're getting there. So stand by. We'll be right back with more as we open the program tonight. Meldon Law sponsors this program. Meldon Law Monday, the Buddy Martin Show.
Or Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
And welcome to the program. I'm Buddy Martin. This is the Buddy Martin Show. We're glad to be with you tonight. It started. It's football season now in the air. They'll have their first tomorrow will be a press conference, and then of course they start practicing on Wednesday. And some teams have already started. We wait all year long for this day, and it comes. You say, "Okay, it's here. Okay, what do we do now?" Let's ask Shane Matthews, even to their QB. How you doing?
What's happening, buddy?
Hey, I'm just waiting for this excitement to kick in. You wait. It's like when you're a kid in Christmas. You wait, and you think it's never going to get here. And then it gets here. You think, okay, well, what do we do now? We got some ball this week. I think it's going to be a really good year to sit back and let the game come to us and not take it like it's life and death every Saturday, although certainly is important. There's a lot of things that can happen, as you said all year long, Shane, between this year and last. Yes, they have a tough schedule, but this is opportunity. They don't have to go out and win 10 games. And they just got to be competitive, give them a shot, and you never know. Like I said in my column, what if they did win 8 games? Where does that put them? Somebody who wins 9 is going to be in the playoffs for sure. Anyway, it started. I'm enthused. I want to get more enthused. Shane, help me out.
Well, yeah, it's an exciting time. I mean, we wait a long time, and before we know it, season will be over. It goes by so fast usually. But I'm excited. The term I like to use is embrace the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
Look, I thought the schedule was hard last year. I don't see big difference this year. I've said multiple times I'm optimistic. I think the narrative of this team would be different nationally if you make a field goal against Arkansas and you stop a 4th and 16 against Missouri. You go 7-5, and everybody feels a little bit different about this team. I think they've added better coaches. I think they've added better players, especially on the side that needed it the most defensively. So I'm optimistic. I could be 100% wrong, but when you say be competitive, I go win games. This ain't, feel good stories. You got to go win games. And I anticipate us winning some football games this year.
And I get your point. You're absolutely right. I think the way you lose matters too. The incompetence of things, and they happen like we know about all the special teams mistakes, 20 men on the field. Those kind of losses are really hard to take. I don't think we'll see much of any of that this year. It looks and feels like a more competent team, better drill, more discipline for what we're hearing from all the players. And I'm really excited to see some of these young players that we haven't heard much about. because a lot of those kids, there's some names that haven't been called that were going to be on the field. And, hey, go make a play, right, Shane?
Yep. A lot of the teams, I think 7 of the teams we play have different quarterbacks this year. We're playing a lot of coaches with some teams with some new coaches. Look, I understand the fan base about, questioning Billy's game day coaching, his play calling. I understand all that. None of that matters right now. Doesn't matter what the hell happened last year. A lot of the teams that we're going to play are not the same team they were last year. We're not the same team. Do I think we're better? Yeah. Hell, we may be worse. I don't know. But I think we're much, much better. Let's tee it up and go play.
Yeah, I think you're right. I have a friend of mine who's a very good writer and columnist working on a piece for this weekend about it seems like it was more fun when the teams didn't have great expectations. One reason you guys are so wonderful, not the least of which is because you were good ball players and well coached, but I don't think anybody expected Florida to jump out of the box like you guys did that year. Even before that, if you take the years, the classic years, Ray Gray's first year in 1960, Coach Spurrier's 1966, the Reeves Alvarez year in 69 and so on, those are some wonderfully enjoying seasons. If you ask Gator fans, they remember, it's when you don't expect it that makes so much difference. And, it makes it fun again, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I think, look, even during the glory days, whether it was during the Spurrier or the Urban era, you had good football teams, but good things happened. When's the last time we had a scoop and score or a pick six?
Yeah.
Score a touchdown, kick off, the other team turns it over, and bam, not before you know it, it's 14-0. That has not happened around here in a long time. And when you do that, you get momentum, and it just snowballs. Everything's kind of gone against us. We can't get turnovers, or we haven't in the past couple of years. But give the offense a short field every now and then, make some plays, and let's see what happens. I mean, you play 7 games at home. You only get on an airplane 3 times this year. I'm tired of hearing about how tough the schedule is. It may not be as tough as we think. We don't know.
Is there one particular player that you really can't wait to see, that you have anticipated aside from obviously the QB?
No, it's not even anybody on offense.
No,
I have zero concerns about the offense. Everybody wants to complain about Billy's play calling and this, that, and the other. We played well enough last year to win a bunch of football games. Could we have scored more points? Yeah, but I think every team in America can say that. Could we be more explosive? Absolutely. But we were good enough on offense to win 8, 9, 10 games. We have been historically bad the last couple of years on defense. I want to see L.J. McCray cause havoc because I think he's that good of a player, and I think Pup Howard coming from South Carolina will make a huge difference. And obviously the guys we added in the secondary. So long story short, I'm excited to see all the guys that we've added on defense.
You've been saying edge rushers. How big are those guys, by the way?
How big? Like size and weight?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm sure they're all probably 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 250-ish, 260, maybe 270.
Well, they leaned up, according to what Billy said, with 50 pounds of fat they lost and 50 pounds of muscle they put up, John. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's been a big topic. I don't even know what the weight loss is and muscle mass and all that. I've seen guys that are chubby that are damn good football players. I've seen guys that look like Tarzan and plays like Jane. So, I don't really get into all that.
You and I have been talking about this for many years, and you always said to me, well, just wait till they get that new new facility.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it. Pretty much got everything they needed, and now everything they needed. And now they've got to be able to go and win games. I don't even want to get into the scenario what if Billy gets fired, because he's not going to get fired unless they go 2-9, because he's got his squad in place. But it seems like the attitude's good, which you have to have a good attitude to win. Of course, it's part of the deal. That's the same thing about Coach Spurrier that I think he's underrated about. He always kept his team up. He just gets you up. He was able to talk to people, and he able to talk to stir up the media, the fans, and whatever. That's the one thing I wish Billy did a little bit more of. Maybe spoke directly more to the fans, but I guess it's just not his style, right?
No, I don't have any problem. You got to be who you are. The football team that's over in the Heavener Center that'll be checking in tomorrow,
right. Mm-hmm.
They believe they're going to win a bunch of football games.
Yeah, they seem like
it's the chat boards and the podcasts and the talk shows and all that has all the negativity, which I get, and they have every right to think that way. But the guys that are busting their ass all summer long, they're expecting to have a good football team, and that's all that really matters.
Yep. It all has to work together, and that is, he said, you have to be aligned. You have to have the organization, machinery behind you. The president, I really want to see how that turns out with Ben Sass now taking over. And I've always heard from coaches and ministers, you have to have aligned administration and coaching staff. I think Scott Strickland would be in good shape there in terms of Sass and of course Billy. So I want to see how that turns out. And the NIL money seems to be doing pretty well. We're going to have Freddie on in just a minute. They're doing a really good project, Chomp Out Hunger, which we're going to talk about. And they couldn't have got a better guy than Freddie to do what he's doing. So I read the other day, Shane, Florida supposedly, the website I read on, has more NIL deals than anybody in the country?
Yep, I knew that. I think Texas is second.
Yeah, so the cash
Look,
is there.
We got it going. We just got to win games. When you win games, you have the money coming in. Mm-hmm. You finally have the facility, even though it's a little bit outdated, even though we just moved into it. It's what we needed. And the bottom line is you just got to win, and then the momentum will take over.
What was your favorite time when you played?
Oh, I mean, as you got to remember, as a player, it's kind of your job. You didn't think about it, and they didn't have all this nonsense. The recruiting is not like it was today. You only had like a couple of months to recruit, and that was it. We did not work out year round. We didn't have these barbecues that they have for other recruits. I mean, it's totally changed. We had a lot more free time, and we all lived together in the stadium. That was a big deal. I enjoyed all 3 of my years playing, but we're good college students, I don't think that today's athlete, with all the transfer portal, the NIL, and all the craziness, they really don't get to experience what college is all about, I don't think.
Well, they are students. We forget that. And,
I don't know how many. Well, I talked about on my show today. They had.
I know we'll bring that up next, Georgia. Yeah.
They had all the Power 4 schools from the 4 top conferences, and Georgia's dead last in graduation rate at like, I think I deleted it. It was like 40%. And of course, JC brought up, well, all their kids go pro. Well, Alabama was at like 92%. So and they have a lot of dudes who go pro, by the way. So, that's still a piece of it. I know if you don't go to class, you get dock pay with your NIL, just like if you don't show up on time for the community service. So, look, Billy does things the right way, whether people like him or not. He's got a good program.
Some people, don't like Vanderbilt in the conference for that very reason. I'm glad we don't just give up academics and say, forget about it. Let's be a pro league. I think you're right. Billy does do it right. So Speaking of doing it right, we're going to do it right with Freddie Wehbe here in just a minute and get him on to talk about chomping out. Are you familiar with this, Shane? I know you had it on your show.
Yeah, it's
How
the
you doing,
vegetable baskets you can buy.
Yeah.
I think they call them the orange and blue vegetable baskets. And
Yeah.
team will be passing them out. I
Right.
can't remember the exact date at Celebration Point, or you can donate it.
We'll get all that information coming to you in just a minute. Freddie's going to tell us about it. First, I want to tell you about our sponsor, our friends. They've been with us for a long time. We really appreciate Meldon Law. They won't back down. They want you to know that they love the Gators. They put it on the line for the Gators. They're the only official law firm with the Gators. And they also put their money where their mouth is in sponsoring things, shows. They do their fair share of Florida Victorious. And we all know Jeffrey is very much involved in a lot of things in the community. So, oh, by the way, they also practice law. I'd like to remind Jeffrey of that. You also practice law. And they have a couple of one new location to serve you. Now they're up to 4. Meldon Law, they've got one in Gainesville, Lake City, Ocala, and now Williston. So Meldon Law is there for your personal needs. If you have a review you'd like to make on a case you got pending, call them up and they'll help you out on that. Meldon Law, they will not back down. Let's see if we can find this guy. Well, I don't know how he found time to do this because he's never got time to do anything. He needs about 4 more jobs. Good evening, Freddie. How you doing?
Good evening. How are you, buddy? Hello, Shane.
What's up, Freddie?
What's happening?
I don't know. Do you sleep at all? Because, I don't know how you find the time to do anything, Freddie.
I sleep every night.
Yeah, what, 2 hours?
No. I got to get my 6 hours.
Okay. Well, listen, let's start out with before we get to the biggie, let's talk about Spurs Gridiron Grill. 3 years. Hard to believe. You guys have been in business 3 years. I remember when you first started. Man, I'm telling you, that was a monster project you did. And I'd like to see, I'd like to have what you spent on research just as a savings account, because you went everywhere, Freddie, around the world practically, talking to people about restaurants and getting information, and hope you saved all that data.
Data is king, and research is important in any business. Any business, if you follow the trends and chase the data and apply the numbers, you succeed. Whether it's a podcast or a football team or a restaurant, the principles are the same. You need to learn from other people. You need to learn from what works and their mistakes and make sure you don't repeat those, and put a game plan. But at the end, restaurant is easy. You hire good people, surround yourself with good staff, have good food consistently, and good things happen. And then you had the icing on the cake, like a Steve Spurrier or him appearing at the restaurant and put his Heisman and the museum together next to it, and boom, you got something good there.
Yeah, you've got, last time I heard the number, something like 63 people are still with you that you hired from day one. That's been a while ago. Is that about right now?
We have a staff of over 100. I don't know the exact number today, but we have a bunch that have been with us since we've opened.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, you had the 2 SEC Player of the Year trophies in the museum with the name Shane Matthews on them. And people flock from Mississippi to Florida.
Oh, my gosh. He's got a lot of hardware too. And
yes, he does.
That's things people don't realize about Shane. Shane started this whole thing. So remember, he's the granddaddy of it all. Let's talk about one thing before we get into about NIL deals. I read the other day that Florida had more NIL deals than anybody in the country. Is that all sports or is that just football?
Everyone has opinions on NIL, good or bad. You can't believe either side. At the end, I think Shane mentioned earlier, you got to look like Tarzan and play like Jane won't work in the NIL business either. You got to look like Tarzan and play like Tarzan, and you need to raise a lot of money. And in today's world, money is king and cash is king. And the more we can raise and get deals for these student athletes, the better the opportunities for the student athletes, the more we can win. The coaches need all that. And whether you like it or not, that's the new way of college football and all sports in college. And our job as Florida Victorious, as the NIL partner of the Florida Gators, is to go out and raise money the right way, follow the rules, make sure we're meeting all the compliance things that they have, and the more money we bring, the more athletes we can get and keep and retain.
Freddie and Shane, you might know this too. It seems like the big numbers that we heard about are kind of cooling down a little bit. Those outrageous numbers early on. It seems like we're hearing that things are settling. And somebody I read somewhere, if it's true, Kirby Smart didn't have a single NIL deal of the class he just recruited. I don't know if that's true or not, but it does seem like it's calmed down, Shane, does it a little bit?
I don't know if it has or not, quite honestly. Maybe there's just too much other stuff to talk about right now with the season coming up, but until I think it's still going to be kind of the wild, wild west until they actually get some type of structure and rules in place.
And structure is coming. Rules will change. Things will change. There'll be more openness on this and transparency as we evolve. But the one thing that's not going to change is raising money. The money is going to be needed, and that's the one constant that will stay. And we just need to all work together as fans and help our Gators win, and hopefully be able to beat the Miamis and the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world.
Freddie, I know you won't tell us all the inner workings, but how does the procedure work? Like, does Scott Strickland get together and come to Florida Victorious and say, guys, here's a number we got to reach right here. Can you zero in on this, and do you target that? And is that how it works? How does it work exactly?
I mean, buddy, you know better. It's there's a lot of things that go inside the NIL and the racing, and the rules are very clear internally. We work in parallel with the UAA. We're a third party that works along with them. And the reason we are the NIL partner is we promise to do it right. And we've got a team that does it right and follow the rules. And whatever the rules are, we're going to do every day.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about feeding hungry people. That's a really good. Mighty Food Bank is a special place. You got a press release on that. And I know they do a lot of good work there. And this is something that people can do, make you feel good about where your money's going, and also help the University of Florida at the same time. It's the Chomp Out Hunger vegetable box distribution. It's now until August 10th. You pick up the event on August 15th and from 4 to 9, and you go to 3218 Southwest 49 Terrace behind Regal Cinema in front of the parking garage. And Florida Victorious is teaming up with Chomp Out Hunger. Special edition boxes will be available to purchase by fans between now and August 10th. Boxes can be purchased individually and used to donate benefit to the bread of the Mighty Food Bank. What is the special edition?
So this is a special edition box. It's orange and blue, and it's Chomp Out Hunger. And it's a partnership with our friends at the farms, and we're raising money through that. And basically, you're able to help the hungry people. Bread of the Mighty Food Bank and Feeding America does a good job feeding thousands of people across 12 counties. No matter where you are in a state, you'll be helped with that. So you can either come pick up the box. It'll be stamped with all Gator stuff and orange and blue colors on it. There'll be fresh produce, zucchini, squash, carrots, fruits as well. Every box will be different. It's all fresh. They'll bring out big trucks full of these boxes. Each box costs $30. It's about 18 to 20 pounds of fresh vegetables and fruits. You can either come pick it up on the 15th of August at Celebration Point, right in front of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill next to Regal Cinema, or you can have it donated to the bank, and the bank will hand it out to the hungry. And then what a great cause when cause marketing comes together to help feed the hungry, people that really need food. And these guys do an amazing job. If you've never been to the food bank and see the operations, they do a fantastic job feeding thousands of people every single day. And we're going to help them with that. And most of the purchases we've had so far are people from across the state of Florida. And this is good nationwide. And you can donate 1, 2, 3. We had a gentleman today buy 10 boxes and donate it to the hungry. We get proceeds of that money to Florida Victorious and directly to the student athletes. And the food goes to the people that need it the most.
The players will be out there on the – go ahead, Shane. What did you say?
No.
The 85 players are going to be out there and hand out the boxes. What day is that on? Between 6:30 and 8:30?
That's going to be on Thursday, August 15th at Celebration Point. They'll finish their sessions and classes at 5:45. They'll bus to Celebration Point. There'll be 85 football players, and they'll be handing out the boxes from the truck to the vehicles on their homework and helping with this project. This is a teamwork between the athletes, the student athletes, Florida Victorious, and Bread of the Mighty Food Bank. This is what this is all about. We've teamed up with a great company in Front Door Produce. They deliver vegetables to many supermarkets in town, and they will be bringing, depending how many we sell, 1 or 2 trucks full of these boxes. And the ones that are designated to be donated to the Bread of the Mighty Food Bank and Feeding America will go straight to the bank. And then the rest will be handed out to the folks that buy them. We'll have a drive-through unit. We're partnering with Celebration Point as well. They'll be managing security and the lines, and then we'll hand out the box into the vehicle. And if you want to take a selfie with the athlete, with Lagway or Mertz, whoever you choose to, they'll be delivering that food into your car.
Well, congratulations. You got a really good thing going there. I hope it goes well for you. It's a good cause. Again, folks, it's amazing to think there are people hungry in this world, a lot of them. In the world we live in, yet there's so many people go hungry at night. It's a good job, Freddie. And by the way, I hear Walmart needs a greeter in case you need another job, Freddie. You know.
Thank you, buddy. I'm really helping. I love my Gators. I want us to win, and I'm doing everything I can to help them win. And at the end, when you can combine cause marketing and business together, good things happen. This is a project easily done. It's $30 a box. $10 of that goes to the Florida Victorious Fund and to the student athletes. It's an easy job, whether you're in Miami, Tampa, Ocala, Gainesville. It's we're doing something good for our community, and really that's what it's all about.
Where's that character, Jeffrey Meldon? We haven't heard from him in about 3 weeks.
He should be back any day now. We can't wait.
He had one heck of a vacation plan.
He deserves it. It's good to play hard and work hard. And
you're right about that. I know you don't know about the play part, but you sure work hard. Thank you for all that, man. I appreciate you. And we'll be anxious to hear about your big party. By the way, talk about the event coming up where people can buy tables for Spurrier's restaurant for the anniversary.
We're almost sold out. We're sold out between 4 o'clock and 8:45. We've got some openings right that's to 8:45. But really, I want to go back to the produce boxes. All the information is on floridavictorious.com. You can purchase it there. Just a couple of clicks, put your credit card number, and it's done. And we'll see you on the 15th, or you can donate it to the food bank. Again, every information and the clickable link is on www.floridavictorious.com.
I think we could raise some money to see Shane Matthews do a tap dance. I would be willing to pay $5, get that started.
We need more than $5 out of you, buddy.
Or maybe song he can sing. What would you rather sing or dance, Shane?
Neither.
I'll double you on that, Shane.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make it $10.
You got enough money, he'd have to do it. I mean, what the heck? Yeah, we'll see. Bring the pressure. Who else?
I'll make it $30 and
oh my gosh, price is going up fast. Much in demand there, Shane.
Yes,
what would be
indeed.
your favorite dance, Shane? The boogaloo or the alligator, or what would be if you were a dance?
None of the above.
What do you call how you dance? In my era, it was the jitterbug. I know it's a million years.
Well, I can't remember the last time I danced, buddy.
Really? You didn't?
I mean, when's the last time you went? When's the last time you went dancing?
Oh shoot! Probably about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hitting those nightclubs in Ocala.
All the time, so we go out dance. Yeah. Hey, look at in my yearbook. You can't see it over my shoulder. Look at my yearbook and see what it says. Best dancer, Ocala High School. Hello. Hello. I'll have a dance off with you, Shane. All right.
You'll win, buddy.
I think we'll get it up high enough, Freddie. He'll do it. I can know he'll shake and bake out there for charity, I'm sure. Thank you, Freddie. Be well.
Good job, Freddie.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
you, guys. Appreciate the information. Appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing. We have something good for the community and for Gator Nation. I appreciate your time.
Keep it up, bud. Thank you. Dude really gets it done. I'm telling you. People are going to be proud of that guy, having a guy like that on your team. And they don't even know that he basically helps you on your show too, right? It helps me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been a terrific guy. All right, so Shane, when you go to Spurrier's, what do you eat?
Oh, I usually eat a filet or a burger. I'm a meat and potatoes guy.
Yeah, is there one dish in particular you like?
Well, the filet I like. Yeah. I mean, I either get a hamburger, cheeseburger, or I get the filet.
That's it, huh? Yeah. Have you tried the kick yet?
What is that?
It's a glass. It's after the Coach Spurrier's kick.
Oh, you're talking about a drink?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
most.
I've tried a couple of those drinks. I don't know what's all in them, but I've tried them. Yeah.
Tell you this because I kind of invented it, but it has the most powerful alcoholic content you can have in a drink. It's legal. It's called the kick. And originally, it was supposed to be a tall glass with a picture of him kicking the field goal, but that didn't happen. So I had to order one when I was there. Guess what? I couldn't drink one sip.
You were dancing on the tables, weren't you, buddy?
Well, it would have been. I mean, I'm telling you, whoo, goodness gracious, it was brutal. Anyway, I would recommend if you're going to take that, drink that, you better go get your designated driver when you go home on that one. So, all right, Shane, before you go out here now, give me a kind of a wrap up on the league in terms of the teams that you think. I mean, the obvious ones we know. Ole Miss is could have a great year. Alabama's always going to Alabama, although maybe not as well. Everybody wants to give it to Texas. Georgia we know about. Do you think it's going to be the same old, or do you see any breakthrough this year for any teams in this new old 64?
I think the three best teams in the league are Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. I still have reservations about Texas because playing week in and week out in the SEC, I'm anxious to see how they handle that. But they got a really good quarterback. I like Sarkisian as a play caller. They got great talent. We know what Georgia has. I think Alabama is going to be pretty good. Ole Miss, I think, has an opportunity, but until they actually win the games they lose all the games that people think that they're getting over the hump. I mean, their schedule is very simple at the beginning, gets a little more difficult at the end. But I think after that, you can just shake them up and draw out names. I don't know what's going to happen.
Don't you think Lane's a much better coach?
Oh, I think Lane's an outstanding coach. The problem is, I think Lane sometimes his game day coaching is very questionable when you have an opportunity to kick a field goal to take a lead in a game instead of trying to go for it when it's 4th and 8 or something like that, or going for it on your own 10-yard line coming out. But I'm a huge Lane fan. I think he's a heck of a football coach. I think he takes a lot of chances. When they work, they're great calls, right, buddy? But when they don't work, you're like a dumbass. That's pretty much for any coach.
Yeah, he kind of patted himself after Spurrier a little bit.
No, he does. He's very – the difference is they have a good offense, but it's not – I don't love their offense because there's not a whole lot of route combinations in it. It's a lot of single just go routes and RPOs, and you're banking on your outside guys winning the 50-50 ball, which in today's world, throw it up there. But there's not a whole lot of route concepts in their offense.
They run the ball pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get Franz to weigh on this before he goes too. If you had to pick one team that would be so-called dark horse, and I'm not really sure I can define who that would be. Is there a team you think that might break through that we should watch closely that could have? I mean, I know you.
When you say dark horse, are you going on like so-called predictions of what's going to happen this year by the national people.
Expectations.
Expectations. Well, then I would say the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Franz thinks you're right too.
I like Florida. I like Florida's chances to, at very worst, finish middle of the pack. And I think with a break or two, and who knows, this is the thing about it. Everybody talks about the back half of the schedule. You don't know what happens when you hit November. Who's going to have missed it? Whose left tackle is done for the season? Whose quarterback is dinged up? You know, who's lost a wide receiver? I mean, of course, with Georgia, you know, we know that Rara Thomas has. They're going to make him run laps around the practice field this week. That's what I understand. He's been suspended until they are allowed to have contact, and he'll have to run laps around the practice field until then.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I still think there's a team out there we have identified. I don't know who it's going to be. And Shane, how much do you think the long season will have a bearing on things? We're talking, we're talking 16 teams. We're talking teams that you don't line up against every day. You're playing, you're punching against a heavyweight champion every week, and that takes a toll on your body. And long about middle of November, it's a different game, Shane. How much do you think that will factor in?
I think coaches realize that the season with 2 bye weeks is going to be drawn out a little bit more. They do a really good job. I mean, you got from the training aspect to the way they feed these guys, the way they monitor their rest. And remember, we're talking 18 to 23-year-olds. They ain't going to get tired.
So you think the nutrition and strength program will have a bearing on it from Florida's standpoint?
Well, I mean, we're not the only people that have a nutrition department. I think that's way over. I think it's way overblown, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, playing 12 games in the SEC is rough, and then if you make the playoffs, you're looking at another 2, 3, 4 games possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's just more football for the fans to watch.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
I think we're all three excited about the season because we waited so long for it. We've been through all the NIL stuff. Now we're getting out of the ball. Final comment on a scale of 1 to 10, Franz and Shane, how excited are you about this team?
About Florida?
Yeah.
I just said, I think they're at the very worst middle of the pack. And if they get to mid-season, break here or there, they could be better than middle of the pack because, buddy, how many times have we seen it when a team gets dinged up or they have a rash of injuries? Shane was on a 1989 team that started out great at Florida, and then Stacy Simmons and Kyle Morris get hurt, and there goes the offense. There is no more offense the rest of the year except Emmett left, Emmett right, Emmett up the middle. But the
Shane wasn't on that team, was he? Shane, you were on that team, were you?
I came here in '88, buddy.
No, but did you play at '89?
No, I didn't play. I was on the team. You got to remember, buddy, you got about 100 dudes on teams, and not everybody plays. Not everybody dresses out.
I thought, and Franz would know because he has a good memory on this stuff, but you said was on the team. I thought maybe you said he played. I know you didn't play.
No. But Kyle Moore, we finished the year with Donald Douglas, the master of the 6-inch pass, at quarterback, and Emmett, Whitey Jordan with his famous, let's give the ball to Emmett because I can't think of anything else offense. It was a first-class defense, though. That was a defense that could have won the SEC, no question about it, if there had been any kind of an offense on that team at all. But as Shane can tell you, a couple injuries wiped out an entire season. What did y'all finish that year, Shane? 6-5, 6-6, something like that.
Yeah, I don't even remember. When I wasn't playing, I didn't pay attention. I was trying to get in the transfer portal, but my parents wouldn't let me.
to invent the transfer portal. All right, Shane. Tomorrow morning we're going to do it, and we light it up tomorrow morning. And you'll be on right at the same time the press conferences. We're competing with the Gators tomorrow on the Pot Up with the Matthews show tomorrow morning. So be sure and
All right, gentlemen. Remember,
Shane. Yeah.
Optimism and embrace the schedule.
Listen to that guy. Sounds like Norman Vincent Peale. We'll do it, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Great Shane Matthews. And before Franz pops on here and tells us exactly how the Gators are going to do this, he's got a master plan. I know he's got it written down somewhere. I'm going to tell you about our friends at TitanMRI.com. Nobody really likes going to get an MRI, but you have to do it in today's world. And when you go, you don't get cooped up in a little place where you can't hardly breathe. You get claustrophobic really easy. And secondly, you got to go in the middle of the day. You got work going on. You can't get off the job. Well, the people at Titan MRI know of that, and they've custom made this whole experience for you. If you want to get another date and time for your MRI night, weekend, they'll do it for you. Just contact them and tell them you need to have a venue change for yourself. And then also remember, they also are aware of your experience. They want you to be comfortable when you do this. They also, if you don't have insurance, well, they'll take cash or card right there. So check them out. If you need an MRI, Titan, MRI.com. Francis.
Yes.
I know we haven't talked about basketball. We have plenty of time for that. But as we look down the road here, we kind of know where we stand with Florida in terms of what we expect. I think you and I are looking at the 7 to 8 win every game. We haven't picked it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But who among the players excites you the most that you haven't seen and want to see more? And is there somebody there that you do? I'll tell you what mine is.
Yeah, I want to see Jaden Ball a lot more this year.
That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
On offense. Defense, yeah. I want to see Grayson Howard, because I think that I think he's the guy in the middle that they didn't have the last couple of years. Buddy, they missed 116 tackles last year.
Oh, wow.
That's almost 10 a game. And when you think about that, you wonder how the hell did they win 5 games missing that many tackles?
Really?
You just can't do that. And I think he's that guy in the middle that's going to make tackles, put people on the ground. I like the people that they've brought in to play the back line behind those linebackers. I saw a comment this week from from one of the players who said that Asa Turner, the guy from Washington, hit one of our receivers. He said that was as hard as I have ever been hit at any level of football at any time. And he said it was just a normal hit for this guy. Oh. And this is another thing they've got to have, is they got to have some enforcers back there. Everybody remembers Reggie Nelson as the eraser back there. But Reggie Nelson not only was the eraser as far as getting back there in coverage, Reggie Nelson hit people and hurt them. I mean, really hit people. But anybody who arrives that fast, who's 200-something pounds, is going to hurt you. And I'm excited about that. The other guy on offense that I'm really excited about, and this one's going to surprise you, Jake Slaughter. I think Jake Slaughter came on last year. By the end of the year, I thought he was a rising star. Everything I've heard is that this is the guy that's going to make that offensive line totally functional this year. And it's almost, somebody told me the other day, said Jake Slaughter and Graham Mertz share the same brain. And if that's the case, holy cow. But you watch him talk and you listen to him, and, he comes on there and he's got his glasses on and everything. I mean, the guy looks like, he's, just taking time to talk football on his way to teaching a class somewhere. He just looks, he's got that look of a professor, if you can imagine 6'5", 310-pound professor. That's got a Van Dyke beard, but he's a bright guy. And I think if he has the kind of season that I believe he's going to have in the middle, I think that offensive line is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, good point. Let's talk about Jake Slaughter. Came out of Trinity. I think he committed to Miami, as I remember, and then changed his flip and went back to Florida. Didn't make too much out of it when Jake came to Florida. It wasn't like a huge get. It was a good get. And I talked to John Brantley about him, and John Brantley was fairly high on him, but he didn't rave about him. And so this guy came in, and they stick him in the game, Franz, right away. He's out there making calls as a true freshman. I mean, how many times have you ever seen that? I've not seen it much. And it was amazing. And now look, suddenly he's become like the guy. He's the leader of the offense, and the offensive line making the calls. They all respect him. He's going to be an all-SEC, maybe an All-American. That guy is coming a long way.
I think this year he's got a chance, and this will be he'll be a third-year sophomore. I believe that this year he will be no worse than the third best center in the SEC by the time the season is all said and done, which I think is a pretty remarkable achievement, because by the time he's through here, I think he's going to go down as one of the best centers we've had. Mm-hmm. Big, mobile, mean as a snake when he's blocking people, but so smart. And everybody says that he shares the same brain with Graham Mertz. I'm going to tell you what, Graham Mertz is a brilliant guy. You've listened to him talk for the last couple of years, buddy. You know what I mean when I say he is a brilliant guy. Yeah. The Mannings couldn't speak well enough about him, because they said it's just unfathomable how easily he processes information and gives you right answers. That's a guy that can take a team like Florida and put them on his back. And I think it's going to be a great year for the Gators if we get some play out of that offensive line, because I think you got the trigger man back there. And lest we not forget, this is his second year starting in this offense. And 43 starts, only one other quarterback in Division I has more starts.
Yeah, true. Well, that's all well and good, but it's not the offense we're worried about. It's the defense.
Yeah.
Everybody our friend out from Auburn, Rob, thinks the world of Ron Roberts. He really was the architect of the creeper defense, and he was the guy that they wanted. And apparently, Roberts is going to have a big impact if what we're hearing from the guys is true. Florida Ray says Ron Roberts will be key in the resurrection of the UF defense. How do you guys feel about the impact of Ron Roberts? Shane, or buddy Shane's gone. I'll let you fill in for them. What I know about him, you know more about him than I do. I think they got somebody special there. They know they got somebody special, and he's going to have an impact. If he has the impact, they'll be getting off the field, which is what they need to win games.
Well, you're right. And let's get real here, buddy. At Auburn last year, he came into Auburn and he improved their defense by 4 first downs a game. People say 4 first downs is nothing. Yes, it is. Figure 4 first downs a game means you got them off the field. That means you gave your team 12 plays. 12 plays, my gosh. 12 plays is a scoring drive. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Also, 12 plays fewer means 7 points fewer. Mm-hmm. Okay, 7 and 7, that could be a 14-point swing when you think about it, buddy. It's when you really get into the analytics about him, he's got this ability to get teams off the field. And that's what is going to be critical, because we've seen those 3rd and 19s like Missouri converted. We've seen how Arkansas last year, we take the penalty instead of forcing them to punt. Blows my mind to this moment that they did. And they give up 4th and 13 to Arkansas, and Arkansas comes back and wins that ball game.
No way they should win that game. No way.
No. Arkansas wasn't within 14 points as good as Florida was last year. And yet Florida found a way
to lose
that game. Yeah. And that's the confounding thing about these last 2 years.
Right.
We can all agree that Billy Napier can do some really good things. We've seen him do it. That win over Utah, his first game here, was a great ball game. That win over Tennessee last year here was a great ball game. We've seen him do those things, but then we've seen him do the things like going up there to Tennessee his first year here. There is no way the Gators should have lost that football game, and yet they did. It's like the Florida State game a couple years ago. There's no way they should have lost that football game, and yet they did. And on and on and on like that. We've just seen it. They're 11 and 14. Any way you slice it, they should be 19 and 6 over the last 2 years.
No. All right. So to answer the question of Michael Burton, do you know whether Roberts will be in the booth or on the field?
Good question. And I don't know that. It's one that he'll be there tomorrow at the press conference. It will be worth asking him what he's going to do about that. I think that he's probably going to be the guy in the booth, because I think they're going to want Will Harris down on the field. I think they're going to want Mike Peterson down on the field as well, and Gerald Chapman as well. So somebody's got to be up in the booth, and I would say he's the guy to have up there, because he's the guy that he can take one look and see an entire field better than anybody we've got.
Yeah, I guess you're with you on that. Hey, answer the question here. Well, no, let's go this. Let's do this. Let's talk about tomorrow morning's press conference and who's going to be there, what we expect. Well, I ain't be able to hear about. There won't be any practice tomorrow. They practice on Wednesday. Tell me about what's scheduled for tomorrow and what you expect to hear.
Well, they're going to bring in Ron Roberts is going to be there. Russ Callaway is going to be there. And it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to define how much input he's going to have into the offense. He's now listed as the co-offensive coordinator. And he's got a bright mind, buddy. I mean, there's no question about it. All you got to do is look at the stats when he was calling the plays at Samford, and he's got a bright football mind. So the question is this: how much input is he going to have? Ron Roberts will be there. Joe Houston, who's the new special teams guy, is going to be here. Florida's got, I think, as good a long snapper as there is in the country. I think they got as the best punter in the country and Jeremy Crawshaw. And Trey Smack has a chance this year to become a truly elite place kicker. The problem has been the organizational part of it, like two guys wearing number one, like a Chinese fire drill that all of a sudden costs us a chip shot field goal against Arkansas that would have won the ball game. Things like that just can't happen. And my hope is that this guy understands that, and it is a completely it is a well-run organization on special teams, because we got to remember something. Urban Meyer, you and I were around when Urban Meyer came in and starts talking about just how much emphasis he put on special teams. And you look at how he did it. Florida, Florida just killed it on special teams during his time here. I'll give you the perfect example. In 2008, Chaz Henry every time he'd go out there to punt, which was rare because that offense was so good, he'd look at Urban, and Urban's last words were, make it wet. In other words, he kicked the ball so high that, you'd think he was going to bring rain.
Yeah.
You know how many yards Florida gave up, return yards that year?
None.
14.
Yeah, that was very low.
14 punt return yards all year long. Crawshaw's got that ability, but you better have the coverage guys there. So
Gotta have the best players on the field to do it too. Yeah.
I hope, my hope is that, because when you've got a guy that is really a change of field position guy, which this guy is, he's a weapon for change in field position, but you can't let guys run punts back on him. You got to have the coverage. You can't have him shanking. You can't have him shanking a punt because you had a breakdown in the blocking. So my hope and prayer is that this guy, Joe Houston, comes in here and just totally changes things around with that.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go off the air with something a little different tonight, and I want you to go with me on this. We've been around sports a lot of years, and we understand, especially professional sports, what it's a business. It's a business. We know things happen. Players get traded, not signed, not re-signed, so on. We get all that. But there's something happened unusual last week in baseball. And we don't talk about baseball on this show. This kind of touched me deeply. And it just goes to show you, I watch baseball for the joy of watching a game. I don't write about it. It's not like I cover it. But I do enjoy watching a nice baseball game. And I've become attached to some of the players I watch on the Rays, okay? And one of the players that really won the hearts of people is Randy Arozarena, the Cuban who doesn't even speak English, who plays left field. And, of course, they have embraced, the fans embraced him. He has his own section, Randy Land. They pay a premium price to sit there. He throws balls to them in the outfield. They all wear shirts. And Randy's the kind of guy that gives everything he's got on every single play. Incredible year a couple of years ago, 10 home runs in the postseason. Anyway, just a good guy to watch. Well, something happened yesterday, that the day before yesterday, that shocked everybody. The Rays suddenly decided to trade him to Seattle. And the way it happened was the announcers didn't know about it until they got off the plane and saw them telling Randy goodbye on the plane. And it's a business, but it's still human beings. Well, here's what's amazing is it was a shocker, even though we know it happens. Last night, Randy shows up for the game with his family and sits in the stands. I've never in my life ever seen anything like that, where a guy's been cut or traded and he comes back and sits in the stands to say goodbye. I mean, it was really, his wife was crying. His daughter was in his lap. I mean, it was brutal and heart-wrenching to watch. It was, really was. So, and then that wasn't the end of it. And then they also, coincidentally, the Rays had a fire sale. Next thing you know, they traded Isaac Paredes to the Cubs. Now they traded Jason Adams. And now as I'm going on the air, they just they sent Ahmed Rosario to the Dodgers. But I mean, so this is the brutality of professional sports. But sometimes when you open your heart up to a player and you really try to embrace him for what he is, it's a beautiful thing of the relationship with the fans. But it's also very painful to see that when it happens.
Well, again, it is a business. And unfortunately for the Rays, they've got a rotten stadium in a rotten location. I'm disappointed that they're not going to build that new stadium in Tampa.
They're going to build it. They have the okay.
Yeah, but they're going to build it in St. Petersburg.
Well, it's still a nice stadium. It'll be nice.
Yeah, but it needs to. They need, if you really want the fans to come, you need to put it in St. Petersburg. I mean, not in St. Petersburg, but that stadium needs to be in Tampa, on the waterfront in Tampa. Yeah, or there was another suggestion: put it out where the state fairgrounds are, where people can come on I-4 up and down I-75, etc., which would have been to me an ideal location.
Well, they saved the franchise. That's the most important thing. They saved the franchise.
Yeah,
That's for
but
another night. I hear what you're saying.
at some point in time, buddy, they've got to make a commitment to the fans, and trading your players away every time you're not having a run for a run toward
It's
a division title is heartbreaking. The only thing that has saved the Rays has been the fact that they've got an extraordinary farm system, and they keep bringing in great talent, young talent. But you can't keep treating the fans like this. You can't keep.
That's my point, and I know nobody cares about this but me. But I just felt really bad for the fans, and I felt bad for Randy, who had opened his heart up to these fans, and you want that close relationship between your fans. I remember, I'll go out with this, the year that Ray Graves stepped down, and they had to fire his staff, and I remember going over to one of the coach's house after the game, back when you could do that. Fred Pankos was there. He didn't want to leave Florida. He had to go to Georgia to take a job as a backfield coach. And he loved Carlos Alvarez like a son. And I was with him that night when he reached over to the piano. I forget whose house it was. Picked up a picture of Carlos and said, "I can't believe I'm not going to get to coach him next year." And weeping as he did that. It was a side of football you don't see very often. Anyway, I know that's kind of corny to a lot of people, but you know what? I hope that never leaves sports. I hope people keep on caring, and I hope we are able to, to have those relationships with us. Because this is, to me, what it's been about in our business, France, is those relationships.
Well, it has been, and this is the part that kills me about, the modern day sports information directors and coaches who say, "I can't spend." You're getting paid $8 million. You can spare 15 minutes of your day. You can. You're being paid $8 million. You can let your players talk. And anyone who says that, pardon my expression, I'm going to use a word I never use on here, is, to quote Representative Congresswoman Nancy Mace, is full of shit. And I'm sorry to say that, but it is true. You got I don't know what's going on, and the athletic directors are the ones who could change that. All the athletic directors have to do is say, "Hey, we're paying you more than you could make in the NFL." And in the NFL, the press gets into the locker room, players have to talk, coaches have to talk, and from now on, you're going to do it. Well, am I hopeful it's going to happen? In my dreams. But it's what, you want to know what they could do to make sure they don't have to have fire sales for tickets, at the last second to bring people in to fill up the stadium. Start letting us write stories about people. Start giving us access to coaches. Make the damn coach get out there and talk, and not give us some absolute BS, that he's reading off of a note card that says, "Yes, we have 12 football players today that were outstanding at practice," and then they don't tell us who they were. Yeah. I'm being facetious here. But that's reality that we live in, and it is wrong.
I want to calm you down because you got a long week. To be a practicing bartender, you have some personal things. They're going to take you away for a few days, and I want you to relax a little bit and kind of get a little rest while you're there, and be fresh and ready to go next week. Okay, we strap it on again. By the way, Freddie Wehbe has a question: did Franz purchase his box of produce yet? He says, "I'll tell you what I'll do, Franz. I'll go half with you. Okay, we'll put up the 30 together. Okay, 15."
All I got to say to Freddie is, stand by, pal. Good stuff's about to happen. And he knows what I mean by that.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. All right, Francis, be well, my friend. Have a good morning tomorrow morning. We'll have those two young guys out there tomorrow, new names that you probably haven't heard. Jack Moore is one of them. And I know if Jack will be there, you'll be seeing his byline. And he'll be joined there by a couple of the people that I think you'll enjoy them. Franz, have a good one, buddy. Thank you. Good job.
Sure.
Appreciate you. All right, the great Franz Beard is through, and we're going to wrap up the night telling you about our friends at Vinstar Medical Research who do so many good things. It's always easy for me to talk about it because they're such special people and they're friends of mine, and they've really done a lot of good things for our community. And I do appreciate all their support, but also appreciate the fact what they're doing. They want you to understand the necessity for clinical trials. It's how we get more information about what we need to treat our bodies. And they have them. They had almost 800 of them over the years. Have a clinical trial. They would like you to sign up if you could and take part in it. This is where some people take the placebo, some take the pill, and you see how you react to it. And your insurance doesn't get charged for this. You could be compensated for your time and travel. And it's good information they can get and send off to these companies to find out how to better treat us in our community. So check them out. Go to Renstar.net and find out what they're doing and what it means when you say Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers for the health questions of today. Thank you tonight for our guests, as always. Appreciate it very much. Shane does a terrific job. Don't forget, we'll be joining Shane tomorrow morning and on his program. And also, Freddie Wehbe. How can you not love that guy for all the things he's done? He keeps on doing it. We appreciate you, Freddie. And, of course, Franz, Darren Duke. He's got some tough days ahead, so be thinking of him during this time. Meanwhile, I'm Buddy Martin. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.